Welcome to an overview of the Middle East region investigation. In this investigation, you're trying to figure out how to respond to the question, how should we define the Middle East as a region? Today, as you begin learning about the Middle East, instead of memorizing names and dates from a textbook, which is really hard and not particularly interesting, you will instead read and hear several different perspectives. You'll discuss with your classmates, and then make your own decision about what it all means. Read, Inquire, Write lessons are called investigations. Throughout each investigation, you're looking for evidence to figure out how to respond to a central question. You'll notice that our investigations never say, answer a central question. Instead, you'll hear us ask you to respond to a central question. That's because we believe there is not one right answer. There could be multiple answers. So we want you to respond to the question with evidence. Read, Inquire, Write investigations support you in building a case for your argument using evidence and reasoning. Over time, this kind of work will strengthen your reading, writing, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. In this investigation, you're trying to respond to the central question, how should we define the Middle East as a region? In thinking about our central question, it's important to understand that the term Middle East means different things to different people. So this investigation begins by considering what defines a region. Sometimes people define regions differently, and that's important to understand. For example, some define it by physical environment, a shared history of experiences with politics or government, a shared culture, or how people adapt to their environment. These are all ways to interpret the definition of a region. Let's look at your task for this investigation now. The Encyclopaedia Britannica website includes a list of countries that some people argue are in the Middle East region, but it does not explain why those countries should be included. Your task is to first write an email to editors of Encyclopaedia Britannica, and second, make an argument about why the countries in the Middle East are a region. Use evidence and reasoning from the investigation to support your response. Ask yourself, what features of a region are most useful for defining the Middle East? You will write an interpretation-style essay. Remember, an interpretation-style essay is a type of essay that helps you share what you think about the question based on evidence. Our investigation will guide you step by step in developing your response. Let's review those steps now. First, you'll begin by building background about the term, the Middle East. For example, you will look at who uses the term and how it's expressed by speakers of different languages. Next, your teacher will provide you with different sources to read about which offer different perspectives on the Middle East. You'll use these sources to determine why the list of countries on Encyclopaedia Britannica's website should be included in the Middle East. To help you read these sources, your teacher will provide you with this bookmark. The bookmark tool will help you understand, analyze, and evaluate sources about the Middle East. The bookmark prompts you to make annotations or detailed notes about the sources. You'll do this as you read and after you read. For example, in this source, you can see that a student has circled important information related to the author, Nikki Keddie, and for whom the article was written. The student also made notes about what those circles mean. You will do the same on your sources, and the bookmark tool will guide you. Making these annotations is really important because they will help you remember key ideas in the sources. This way you don't have to try to remember everything or have to reread everything later. Instead, these annotations will make it easier to explain why the countries should be included in the Middle East. In step 3, you will weigh the evidence presented in the sources about the Middle East. You will begin by sorting the sources based on your understanding. Then you will construct and discuss the arguments based on what you have learned from these sources. Then in step 4, you will read and analyze a mentor text similar to the type of interpretation you will write about the Middle East. A mentor text is a sample of writing that shows you one way to organize and write an interpretation style argument. It includes important parts such as claim, evidence, and reasoning. It's a good example of the way you can structure your own response about Middle East countries. Just remember that the mentor text is not exactly what you'll write, and it is not a source. The mentor text is one example of what your essay might look like. Next, you'll use the planning graphic organizer. The graphic organizer is like a roadmap for your essay. It helps you organize your ideas about which sources are most reliable for learning about the Middle East, and it will prompt you to give evidence and reasoning to support your argument. You will use all of the work you've done so far to help you develop this roadmap. You'll look at your annotated sources, you'll determine what argument you think is strongest, and then make decisions to plan the essay you'll write. Then in step 6, you're ready to write your email and respond to the central question, how should we define the Middle East as a region? Be sure to use the sources you have read to write your response and write the strongest argument. We know it's sometimes difficult to start writing. That's why we also include a useful language tool. You can look at this tool to choose from examples of how to start your claim, evidence, and reasoning. Finally, after you have spent some time writing, pause to use the reflection tool. The reflection tool will help you review what you have written so far and set goals for your next steps. The reflection tool reminds you about what to include in your argument. Let's review quickly the 7 steps you'll take throughout this investigation. 1. Build background. 2. Read and analyze sources using the bookmark tool. 3. Weigh the evidence. 4. Analyze the mentor text. 5. Complete the planning graphic organizer, deciding on the argument you will make. 6. Use the useful language tool as you draft your essay. And finally, review and improve your essay using the reflection tool. As you work through the investigation, make sure you talk with your classmates and others who can support you as you learn about and respond to the central question. How should we define the Middle East as a region? Good luck!